Hello. I am admittedly a little nervous because generally I do sort of a voiceover, but this time I thought, you know what? Let's just do the thing and see how it goes. And if I have to do a voiceover later and totally scrap this audio, fine. It is what it is, but I figured I'll give it a try because I am talking about ombre today and mixing and matching textures of dip to achieve different ombre looks. I have some swatch sticks here. I have some naked nails that, provided that I don't have to stop this video to tend to my newborn and pick up again tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. And let's see how many times I can say Whew, all right. So I will be demonstrating with some Dippsters colors here. I have a lot out for a very specific reason you'll see soon. And full disclosure, my swatch liquids are Atomica because they cheap. You know how it is. All right, so first things first, I want to talk about the easiest combination of dips to create an ombre effect. And as we all know, there's different textures of dip. So you have creams and shimmers and glitters and chunky glitters. And I really think that for an ombre, the easiest type of ombre is to take these types of shimmers, like here in Top Bunk and ICU, which I have ICU on here. It's just so beautiful. See how the glitters easily move in the pot? These ones are going to be good for an ombre because they're going to be the easiest to create that blend. Creams don't let you create as easy of a blend because they don't have the movability, in which we'll get to also later. So first, tools for ombre. You're going to need your dip liquids. Some people also do a gel ombre, which I've never done before. It looks like it's actually pretty easy. I'm curious, but for today, we're going to talk about dip liquids. And then a couple eyeshadow brushes. This one I found to be too fluffy. I've actually ruined it. Do you guys remember? I thought this was actually, I thought this was an early Ipsy bag brush from like literally 15 years ago, but it's not. Those were pink. But anyways, getting way off track there. I got this one, this is e.l.f. And I really like this one because it has sort of like a ledge that I can like dump, earthquake, dump the powder onto the nail for an ombre. So, let's get into it. And then you'll see what I'm saying. I'm going to put my individual powders in their own little cupcake liners to kind of contain them. That is one thing about ombre. It is, the glitter gets flying. It becomes a party. I'm gonna get my swatch stick covered in dip base. All right, and you're going to want a medium drying dip base, because if it dries too fast, you won't be able to get to that second color on time. And so here we go. Just gonna pick up, and this white color, Top Bunk, and it's actually more of like a, you'll see. This is gonna be my bottom color. So I want it to trickle. And I would do the same thing with my nail. I would be pointing my nail down because I want the bulk of the dip powder to be concentrated at the cuticle, and then I want it to have a natural fade towards the front. So I set that there, and I'm gonna tap it off. And then this, I'm just gonna boop, put it in there. It's looking not great for this first time. That's okay. That's why we do several layers. And don't worry, if it looks crazy on your first dip, that's okay. And after your base dries, sometimes I'll give it, I don't want the dark color all the way down there, but it'll get covered up eventually to create a blend. Trust the process. All right, second coat of base is going on. That's when you're like, oh man, this is not gonna work. This isn't gonna work, but it will, trust me. This time I'm gonna go with my first color and I'm gonna angle my fingernail up and tap on, focusing my powder on the tip, like that. And it's just gonna naturally create a fade towards the middle. I'm going to tap it off and then just gonna stick that whole finger into the dip. So you'll notice with slower drying dip bases, after you dip and you kind of let your fingernails sit, you'll see that everything starts to get wet again. You can use that as an opportunity to stick it right back in there and build up this lighter color. We don't have to worry about the darker color so much because dark is always going to shine through the lighter color. I generally will like 3 or 4 dips for a good ombre. So now I'm going to clean off my ombre brush because we're going to go back and do the lighter color first again. Alternating the colors is what is important to getting a good blend in this texture of dip powder. It's not going to necessarily be the same with if you're doing an ombre with a chunky glitter and another texture dip powder. You might have to change up your style a little bit. This time I am concentrating a ton of top bunk because I want the lighter color to really pop. I want to just and you can see how it just really blends. And these, I don't know if I chose the best 2 colors for this. The important part was the texture of the colors, that they have a lot of movability. Like this sort of smaller glitter is what's really good for ombre. And it's kind of like a no fuss. So now I'm going to take my activator. Normally I would also clear dip over top of all this, but these are swatch sticks and I'm not doing the same method. So as you can see, it's got a pretty nice gradient. So now that my activator has dried, because I probably will be seizing my brush today, I wanted to put on some quick top coat. So there, that's our first. This is basically matching a swatch of an ombre with matching dip powder texture. As in they're both small glitter and easy to do an ombre with. Let's talk about cream, because cream is harder. This is what you'll see a lot of boomer manis with. I'm going to use Bubble Yum and I'm going to use Coral Me Crazy. I do have, oh look at, oh you cannot tell like how blindingly neon this is. I think these are like kind of a cute unexpected pairing. Like how cute is that? Ah! Summer's not over yet, so maybe I have to do that because those are so cute. But for some reason, coral on me always pulls just red. It doesn't look as cute on me as it does in the jar. Meh. But that's okay. So these are, I'm going to use the same brush. Try and get all the glitter out. And it's going to be literally the same technique. It's just that these, like when with the cream powder, it's just a little bit harder to get a blend, and you typically will need more layers. So again, I'm starting out with the lighter color, tipping my tip of my swatch stick down so that and so you know that's looking like it's over top of it a lot in like a bad way, but it's not bad, it's okay. I'm trying to find my little spoon. I have a cute little spoon, I can't find it. So in this case, I'm going to just take Coral Me Crazy and I'm going to dump it over. And I'm going to tap off the extra. Oh, cute. So I don't get some of the bubble yum in there. And I'll do the same thing now with, because I do not want the coral to get into the bubble yum. This time I'm going to start with the coral. And since my coral did end up further down on the bubble yum than I anticipated, I think the pigmentation of the coral is going to overpower the pigmentation of bubble yum, which is something you want to consider when you're planning your ombre mani. There we go. They're covering each other up now. Hopefully we'll get a nice blend. On my camera, I'm noticing on my phone, it doesn't look very orange. Trust me, it's just like a beautiful, the coral is a beautiful neon coral. You might be noticing that I am not brushing off my dips in between, like on the swatch. Like very often I'll use one of these on my nails, like I feel like a lot of people do, in between dips to get off the excess. As my dip base is actually soaking through, and you can tell it's wet again, I could probably dip it and dip would stick. I want it to absorb and keep on to help the excess powder to help with the blending. So again, I'm gonna go in with my base. See, this is why I said that a cream ombre is often the hardest, because sometimes cream colors do not play nicely. If you're going to do a cream color, cream on cream, like for a boomer, for example, it would be a good idea to choose one color that's more sheer and can be built up, and the other color to be your typical like full-on pigmented color, just so there's wiggle room for the blending and they're not competing, if that makes sense. So again, I'm really putting on this pink bubble yum because I know my tip is still wet. And now, hopefully when I put on some Coral Me Crazy, it doesn't completely overpower. It may even on screen. Here we go. And since the pigmentation of the coral is so much stronger than the pink, I almost want to go in again with another pink first, coral second. There is some sort of analyzing along the way, and I am going to brush this off just to get a feel for it. The downside to working one nail at a time. Okay, so I'm not totally in love with how harsh this line is. I'm going to do another. This might just be a flop, which is okay. You know, we're experimenting. That's part of what makes dip so much fun, is learning as you go. So this time I barely picked up any product. That's when I have to do a fourth dip on an ombre, I will just very lightly tap my bristles into the product and then give it light dusting. Especially when I've noticed that there's a harsh line for me. So it's like a nice dusting. This might do the trick. I want my tip to be pigmented though. As I clearly can't be on camera. I'll take my little scoop. Let that dry for a second. I think overall that's going to be a nicer blend. I can even take whatever's left on my coral brush. That's the nice thing about a slow drying dip base, is you have some wiggle room. Notice there's a little bit of pink there. Just gonna dab it on there. Now I'm going to go in with my activator. Moment of truth. Not a perfect blend. This is why a cream on cream ombre is not my favorite. I could go in with more layers. And when you're doing a tap on ombre technique, you can do more layers because you're getting less product on the nail than just dipping in. Get a really nice blend with the glitter. This one. And this could totally just be because maybe I'm not very good at ombre, and that's okay. I'm sure somebody else can do it way better than me, and hopefully we can find their videos on YouTube and learn together. But, you know, oh, that would be so cute if I wasn't bad at doing cream ombres. But that's why I like doing glitter. And I'm actually going to keep, I'm gonna close up Coral Me Crazy, and we'll keep Bubble Yum out. Because Bubble Yum is going to help me do like a chunky glitter ombre. My technique for chunky glitter ombre is a little bit different than the others. I've also got my chunky glitter here, which is Holla Back Girl. Really beautiful pinky rose gold chunky glitter dip. So you can do chunky glitter, like a chunky on chunky ombre, obviously. it just gets to be a little bit more challenging because there's just so much going on and there's a lot of competition. But when you've got a cream or even a shimmer like Princess P, they complement each other very well. You know, maybe I should do Princess P and Hollaback Girl. Look how cute. And the Princess P's a thermal. Look how you get. Look how cute that is. Oh, you can't tell. The flash is too bright. Oh, there we go. Yeah, maybe I'll put away Bubble Yum and do this. Yeah, I'm like jazzed now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Princess P making her debut. So with this ombre technique, I am pretty much only going to use Princess P first and Hollaback Girl second. I'm not going to alternate like I did with the others because the chunky glitters really help create the ombre. Oh, so cute. Okay, this might be my Manny. And really depending on the opacity of your first color, you might not need, oops, sorry about that, a bunch of dips. So I like doing my not chunky color first, and then I'll go over it again a second time and help it blend over the chunkier glitters, and that creates a really cute effect. And if you are perplexed about chunky glitters, I have another video on how I like to do chunky glitters that I am not demonstrating right now because it's a swatch stick, not a mani. And I can actually, that's the beauty of chunky glitters, that I can, there's so much wiggle room with them. Okay, now I'm just getting sloppy. Let's do a third dip. I get anxious when my videos run long because I'm afraid that nobody's going to sit through all this explanation. Let's get the Princess P higher up on the glitter. Can I create a sandwich effect? There we go. Get more in the Princess P, a little back and forth action. And I am patting down the chunky glitters because that's part of the game. That's what you gotta do. It's really lovely, actually. You can see the color change happening because of the activator. close, you can see some of those larger glitters. Got encapsulated by Princess P, which really gives a really cute effect, I think. I like that. Let's get some top coat on this. And you would clear coat, do a clear dip over this as well. Super cute. I like the drama of the Princess P 2 Hollow Back Girl. And I really like the effortlessness that this one has with the I See You and Top Bunk. Bubble Yum to Coral Me Crazy has some really good potential. Maybe if I had just done one more, that's not dry yet, one more dip, maybe. But I think if I picked a color that matched pigmentation to Bubble Yum, it could have blended nicer. Because Coral Me Crazy is very, 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 very pigmented. Like insane. So I think it was just a little overbearing for the Bubble Yum. All these things are factors to consider for your ombre nail technique.